I am back again with a history of the Bible by Professor John Barton. I'm going to continue reading you a little bit from the book, and this is from chapter 1, page 38, where it tells a historical story. It is not always accurate. Okay, Professor John Barton is talking about the Bible. When the Bible tells history, it is not always accurate, partly because it contains legends and partly because its account of history is governed by a commitment to various interests. The idea that the kingdom of Judah was more important than the kingdom of Israel, for example, is a theological or ideological rather than a historical judgment. The Hebrew Bible is not a book produced at one time, but an anthology of books. And as we shall see, some of those books are themselves anthologies. Religious believers tend to think that it does have an overall coherence, as we saw in the introduction, but this is hard to show empirically. When we dig back into the history of the Bible, what strikes us first is diversity and complexity. So the Bible, according to Professor John Barton, is not straightforward. It is not only catered to one form of, for example, of doctrine. When Christians today, the Trinitarian, when they read the Bible, they read everything in light of the Trinitarian doctrine. Doctrine basically means the study of of what are the, for example, like is it a Trinitarian, Unitarian, or Binitarian? Okay, what are doctrines? What are the creed or the teachings of Christianity? What is God? Okay, but doctrine could mean a lot of things. Over the years, it has meant many different things. But what Professor John Barton here stresses on, he say, especially in the very last sentence of chapter 1, and I'll repeat, when we dig back into the history of the Bible, what strikes us first is diversity and also complexity, meaning it is not a straightforward it is not a straightforward thing. There's many complex things, and there's also many different kinds of Christianity, and there are also many different kinds of Judaism. So it is not a one basically a one form of Christianity. Obviously now the Trinitarian Christianity is the dominant form of Christianity or ideology of teachings. But in the past, what Dr. Barton here trying to say is that that is not the case. In the past, we have different kinds of Christian groups with different kinds of doctrines. For example, we have the Ebionites, who have been lost to us from history. And the ancient Jews, some of the ancient Jews believe in the afterlife. Okay, and some of the ancient Jews do not believe in the afterlife. For example, we have the Pharisees, we have the Sadducees, and we have the Essenes. And according to Josephus, we have a group of people called the Fourth Philosophy. And so there are many different forms of Christianity and Judaism with many different teachings or many different doctrines. Okay, for example, early groups of Christianity, the Ebionites or the Marcionites, for example, they differ to what we have today when it comes to Christian doctrine. Some Christians in the past believe that there are many different kinds of God, and some of them are strict monotheists, like the Nazarenes, for example. From any, obviously the Nazarenes, we do not have any text that survive. According to Professor Bart Ehrman, the Nazarenes were a group of Christians living in Nazareth, if we can call it Christians, that uses a form of the Gospel of Matthew. But we shall not go into that in this video. Maybe we can discuss about the Nazarenes in a different video. But I will recommend you this book again, A History of the Bible by Professor John Barton. And in the next few videos, I will continue addressing some of the points that I've actually marked out here. This is a fantastic book, the best overall one volume book about the Bible, both the Old Testament and the New Testament. Obviously, the Jews do not believe that their book is an old quote-unquote testament, so the Jews do not accept the term Old Testament. But John Barton is writing from a Christian perspective because he is himself a priest. But anyway, he has many evidence, historical evidence, and so this is a history of the Bible, the book, and its faith. Until next time.